Good morning, guys. For some of you, this is going to be like a repeat video, but I have decided that I'm going to redo my video on the cinnamon roll muffins because the last one was like super confusing. So here we go. We're going to do it. And another forewarning is I am potty training my youngest, so I might get interrupted in this video. I'll just have to pause it and I'll be back. It's okay. So the first ingredient is 1 cup of coconut flour. This recipe is really, really good. Even people who don't eat grain-free love it. So, 1 cup of coconut flour, okay? Half of a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, half of a teaspoon of salt, which I didn't grab, so I'll be right back. Okay, half of a teaspoon of salt. You're okay. 8 eggs. These muffins can be made ahead. I don't know about frozen. I've never frozen them before, but I suppose you could, and you could keep the frosting that we make in the refrigerator. They're yummy, aren't they? So 8 eggs. Minus the eggshell. Okay, 8 eggs. Next ingredient is 2/3 of a cup of kefir. Do you have the kefir down over there? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab it. I need 2/3 of a cup. Can I just borrow the? See if you got enough. Whoa, put it in this one. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so 2/3. 1. Uh-oh. I don't know if you're going to have enough, Bree. You might have to get us just a little bit more. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we've got the rest of our kefir. Whoops, it's the wrong one. Right here. So it's 2/3 of a cup of kefir. Now, I do have a video on how to make kefir. If you don't have kefir grains or a way to make kefir, you could always go to the store and buy kefir. I don't know if they make it without sugar, though. Another option is to use yogurt, but you'd have to thin it with a little bit of milk because kefir is just like a thick milk. So, okay, so 2/3 of a cup of kefir, half of a cup of honey. I just eyeball my honey. If you guys have been watching my videos at all, you know that. I don't like to stick it in a measuring cup because I feel like I can't ever get all of it out. So anyway, half a cup of honey, but you feel free to measure it if you want to. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay. And the last ingredient that goes into the batter is 1 cup of raisins. I buy my raisins and a lot of the other ingredients in this video from Azure Standard. This is a huge bulk box, but obviously any raisins would work. So we're going for 1 cup of raisins here. Half. They're like really stuck together when they're in a bulk box. We actually already ate breakfast, so these I will bake and then put them in an airtight container. and they'll be ready to go for tomorrow morning's breakfast. And they're actually more moist and more delicious if you do that. Okay, so now I'm going to take a fork. Just going to whisk it on up here. You could do this in a stand mixer too, but I just find that like in the mornings I'm like, I'll just use a fork. Just mixing it away. Mommy's cooking. What you doing? Okay. So this is going to be like super thick batter, and that's totally normal because we're just about to add a yummy cinnamon swirl that goes through it. So I'm just trying to get all the clumps of the coconut flour mixed here. There we go. So that's done. The next thing that we have to do is make the cinnamon swirl. So for that, you need in a pan, you need 4 tablespoons of butter. Eight tablespoons of honey. Once again, I just eyeball it, so you guys can measure it out if you'd like. 8 tablespoons of honey. It tastes good either way, measured or unmeasured. So, and then 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Now I'm going to put this on the burner on low and just get it to start melting, and then we're going to take it up to a high simmer slash boil. Okay, so I'm going to put that over here on low. I'm also going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees. There we go. So for my stove, I usually put it like on a 4, which is like the number before medium. So that'll get melting, and we'll stir it here in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get out my pans. Woo, my pans. Get some lining cups. I also buy these from Azure, but you can buy them all over. I don't know that this brand would be everywhere. These ones don't have any bleach in them, so they're brown, so it's healthier for you. But basically you're looking for a parchment style baking cup, okay? So in these go. He's playing trucks. That's the sound that the trucks make. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir back here, because what you don't want to have happen is have cinnamon burning to the pan. So I'm just going to give it a stir. We're going to get it melted. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to melt, we're going to take our batter, which is in here, and we're going to take a tablespoon, and we are going to put a loaded tablespoon into each cup. And what we're basically going to do is put a tablespoon of this, and then a couple of spoonfuls of the sauce, the cinnamon swirl sauce, and then put another tablespoon on top. And the reason for that is because you don't want that cinnamon swirl syrup, basically, on the bottom of your cinnamon roll muffin, because it will be really sticky. So when you go to eat it and take the wrapper off, it will just be a sticky mess on the bottom. So we put a tablespoon. What's That's a loud car there, William. You don't want to get the muffler checked. Woo! Okay. I think I sneezed twice in the last video I made about this too. Alright, now we need a spoon. We're just going to flatten this down in each cup. So it's flat. Okay. It covers the bottom. That's basically the goal here. Okay, so we're just smushing it down here. Okay. The last video was so confusing because I had mama brain for one. And for two, I had the recipe marked down for 6 muffins. And so I was trying to double it. Every time I read it to you, I was like reading the single version. So I decided just to remake this video, okay? Okay, so this makes 12 cups, okay? And over here on the burner, we're still melting. And like I said, you're going to want to really watch this because that cinnamon will burn. And then you'll get like an off flavor. But at this point now, I've mixed it enough where my butter's like 3/4 of the way melted. And the cinnamon is incorporated really, really well. So, I'll bring you over and show you what that looks like. Okay, right there, okay? So it's almost completely melted. The cinnamon's already incorporated, so now it is safe to go ahead and go up to a medium high. I'm gonna go probably a number 6 on my stove, which is 1 number above medium. So a little higher than medium. And we're gonna wait for this to come to a really high simmer, almost, could probably qualify as a rolling boil, and then we're gonna set a timer for exactly 1 minute. You don't want that to simmer any longer than 1 minute because what ends up happening is it turns into a thick syrup. And if you keep going, it turns into a hard candy. And obviously you don't want a hard candy in your muffins. So I will bring you guys back when it's ready to go in here. Okay, so we've got what we need here. It's a really hard simmer / rolling boil on the syrup. So we got 1 minute. And then we're going to add them to the muffins. Okay, it's been 1 minute. 1 minute of simmering. Okay. The oven is still preheating to 350 degrees. We're going to take this. I'll show it to you. Let's just look at this. Okay. Thick and bubbly. Now, I am going to take a spoon. I'm going to somewhat evenly divide, it doesn't really matter, somewhat evenly divide the sauce into the pans on top of the 1 tablespoon of batter, okay? Typically around 2 spoonfuls. Just a typical teaspoon from your kitchen drawer is usually around the right size. It's okay, Will. You're fine. Okay. Now, I said this in the last video, but if you drip it, unfortunately, on your baking pan, you are going to want to lick that off or wipe it off. I'm going to lick it because it's good. Licking the pan off here because this will burn so hard to your pan that it'll turn into a hard candy and then you'll have a really hard time getting it off. So it's a mother's responsibility, or a father's, to lick it off. We don't want hard dishes, right? Okay, that's well licked. Now, I've got all of the sauce on top here. We're going to do another tablespoon here. of the batter. I hope this video is like way less confusing. I know it feels way less confusing to me making it, so. The last one was just kind of crazy. I was tired. Trying to make breakfast early in the morning. Now, see, I've already had my breakfast. We had sourdough pancakes for breakfast with a homemade choke cherry topping, which was really good. And so my brain has been fed. I'm not running on empty this time for this video. I'm just going back and kind of adding a little bit to the ones that were a little on the small side, because I do have just a little extra. Last time I had a little girl that ate it on the video, and she's outside now, so I got to use it somewhere, right? Okay, that's done. Now you're going to take a spoon, and you're just going to kind of flatten this over. The more of the cinnamon swirl syrup that you can cover, the better, because it will bubble out and it'll go all over your pan. I mean, it's not the end of the world if that happens, but if you can kind of try to spread this topping out a little bit to at least cover most of it, you will have less of a mess. Ta-da! This is going to go on in 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Depending on the size of your cups, but sometimes it takes 25 minutes. But I usually set an alarm for 20 minutes and then check them at 20 minutes. There we go. Okay. Now, for the topping, this is a recipe for sugar-free cream cheese frosting. I've used it on cakes. I've used it on all sorts of stuff. So, for these muffins, the topping is half of a cup of softened butter, and yes, it has to be softened. Yes, you have to think ahead. If it's hard, it's not going to blend, okay? Half of a cup of softened butter, 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, and half of a cup of honey. And you're going to stick it in a stand mixer or, you know, one of the hand mixers. And you're just going to kind of whip that up and then put it inside your refrigerator. And you can store it in there and, you know, put it on each one in the morning if you're going to eat these over several mornings, or put it all over all of them when you go to serve them. Super, super good. And that's all there is to it. That is a grain-free, sugar-free version of the common day cinnamon roll that I think is much easier, and it's delicious. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I really hope this video was less confusing. So have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification button and all the things you got to do. All right, have a good day. Bye.